Hello there, guys and gals, animal friends, and spirit pals. Welcome to Spirit Whisper Channel. Here I am again, alone again, naturally. Not completely alone. I got my dogs and my cats with me. It's getting ready to rain, so I'll have even more cats in a few minutes. Alaska's back there. You can't see her face, but she be there. Little Buttercup is right here with me. You can see her little face. Can we see her face? And there's her face. They're here with me. There's Pan on my pillow. Did you ever see him before? This is Pan. You guys say, who is Pan? Well, that's him right there. He's playing a flute to a fox. Anyway, how you doing? You probably think you might be able to be doing better. Um, and I don't blame you. I came on tonight, as usual. I thought I'd play around with the cards a little bit. I had a few things I wanted to look at, just two, basically. Excuse me. And I thought maybe you guys would want to look with me, you know, right here in the sperm of the moment, so to speak. Just jumped up, said, let's go do it, do it, do it, to it. So I know you're aware of the whole Epstein file thing, and oh, now there are no files. What files are you talking about? Uh-oh, storm started. I hear a sneezing cat running in the door. What files? There were no files. Um, and all that BS and baloney. So I wanted to look at that a little bit. We all know that there are files. Um, that's Pumpkin back there on the top of the chair. Um, shut up. You're a bunch of lying, cheating, stealing, lowest of the low. That's the way they operate. The Oompa Loompa and his ilk and cult followers and leaders. It's lie, lie, lie. I believe their mouths would go up in flames if like truth came through it. So there's that. And of course, they're lying about all this because why? I'm assuming because the Oompa Loompa is highly implicated as well as others, not just him, others. But since he's in charge of the world, apparently, he's not going to let that out. And all of his, you know, crack licking um, sycophants will do whatever can do to keep that from the public awareness. Not just here in this country, I get, but worldwide. Why exactly? It feels like it's a little more than just about the Oompa Loompa. But let's see. Are there Epstein files that the Republicans have confiscated and tried to hide from the people? That's what I'm wondering. Do do do. I'm using these cards. These are the pulp tarot, Pulp. There's a lot of people with money that are involved in this whole big ring. Rich, rich money. And like, so they have such things. What's the purpose of keeping it hidden? Let me pull a couple of cards in this deck too to add to it. I can just hear like it's more involved than we might think. And like big names, not necessarily that we even know of, but like rich people who run a big bunch of stuff involved in it. Okay. So, are there Epstein files and why are they why are they acting like there aren't any? We know there are. So there's that. I don't even need the cards to tell me. I know there are files. They've already told us there were. Now all of a sudden, what files? We never said that. Oh, it's so exhausting. But it's exactly what they always do. So I don't know why anybody'd have a hard time believing that, they're lying, concealing, cheating, stealing, just like always. So yes, they have it. They got to put it to bed. They have to put it to sleep. They have to kill the story. Um, what naked lady in a bed waiting for a visitor? No, that never happened. We got to have to put the kibosh on this. Kill it once and for all. Too much money is at stake. Too much money passed hands. Um, look at that. First time I ever noticed that, but look at that scale on that hand. Um, People pretending to be just and true and honest paid for this service. We got to keep this one in our hand, this truth, there's a sword of truth, ace of swords. This, we got to hang on to it. We can't let it out of our hand. So they hide all kinds of crap about the Oompa Loompa and their ilk because they constantly do things that majority of people would think of as illegal or, you know, immoral or bullying or, cheating, stealing. So they have to lie all the time because when you're a criminal, part of that means um, making up a story about who you are. So they had to keep it hidden because if it came out, they would lose trust, with the tribe, with the cult followers, the ones, the MAGAs that are following it and that just trust and believe everything they ever say. So, they think, well, we'll put this out and we'll tell them that's it. There isn't one. Believe us. And because we're saying it means it's true. And they think, that's all they can do really is try to bluff it. And they feel like their followers from their past experience are, dumb and don't really think for themselves, and they'll just believe whatever they're told. So they're going with that. If it comes out, I don't know, it kind of sets everything on fire. And it hits them, being, them. I mean, the MAGA Republicans, well, all the Republicans really, because they all just, you know, are in on it on one level. Maybe even Democrats too. I don't know. But it hits them where they live. It's right in their house. It hits them where they live. It costs them big bucks. They've got to keep it hidden because, I said it's in their own house. And then I get the bright orange card. It's orange. Can't really see. It kind of looks red here, but it's orange. So, he's in it. He's implicated. He's all over it. The orange Oompa Loompa, as well as other people that we also know in that group. So I'm wondering, in spite of all their many mighty efforts to hide the truth and keep it out of people's minds and hands, I don't know about you guys, but I'm so sick of like officials or somebody deciding that only they, you can't handle the truth. Like that we aren't allowed to know anything. Just there's this select group of people that just runs everything and keeps everything a secret. I don't know. It's exhausting. I wonder if this will come out anyway, if the non existent list will appear. How it would happen, because you're really good at lying and putting a lid on things, threatening, all that. We need somebody like a Leah Remini who came out from Scientology and spilt the beans. We need somebody, a cult, the Trump cult person to come out, say, I'm tired of it. This is all baloney. Here's the truth. So, cards. Do you see that it might come out? Hmm. Interesting. Is that Ace of Swords again? Do you see? So there's the Ace of Swords. That would be like, this is the truth of it. Does it come out? Is it divulged? The first two cards look like, they're going to work, do everything in their power to prevent that. But I don't think it'll be in their power. I don't know. It's possible the universe might have something to do with it, to do with this exposing. Okay. Hmm. Let's look at these. Very interesting. I'll throw three of these cards. These are lilac lantern cards, just to add a little frosting to the tasty cake that we got going on here. So again, what was my question? Because I can't really type it out on this thing. My question is, will these files come out? Anyway, okay, like that. Three cards. Okay. One thing that I've been hearing about in my brain, when I say I'm hearing my brain, it's like spirit talking, um, is that this whole big machine thing that, supposedly it's just him. Um, there's more than just him. Um, it's still going. I don't think it's stopped. There's that, oh, we stopped it. Ghislaine's in prison and he's dead. And yay, we solved it. No, I don't think so. I think it's still going strong, just like ever. So I said, does it look like it's going to come out? Well, they're going to do everything in their power to prevent it. Um, he's got courts on his side that save his ass every 5 minutes, so they'll try to pull out all the stops. There's also some kind of this is the Hierophant card, some kind of church involvement in it. That sounds really creepy. But a lot of people would rather this not come out. Um, and they've made kind of a deal, or they're bonded together through this nefarious activity. Um, they're, lovers. Uh, they are the Epstein Files. They're one and the same. So they will do anything to hide the fact. Yep, we ate the fruit. We talked to the snake. We were guilty sinners, but we're not going to admit it. Look at us. We're innocent of it. You can't blame us. La la la. So those two cards seem to be talking about we have to, like our lives, our livelihood, our time in the Garden of Eden, our time in controlling the masses, keep them under our spell, depends on it. We got to hold on to it. However, the cards like to tell a story, especially when I'm doing them. Now we get the old thievery, lying, cheating, stealing card that we always get with the Oompa Loompa. Now it's upside down. The way I'm going to take this is there's a possibility that one of the lying, stealing, thieving members of the group turns on them, brings it out into the open. Look, there's papers and stuff in this safe that's hidden away. Um, might expose the stolen items. Because for this say it's not here, that means they stolen it and, you know, put it away from our eyes. So I kind of like that card showing up. And it's showing up right after this truth that we're holding on and hiding from everybody. Oops, some sneaky Pete uh, looking in the hiding place. It might be bringing it out. Uh, and they're sneaky and underhanded to begin with. It's like one of your own. turning. That's what I'm going to say. And then this ended, the last of those cards was the Ace of Cups. So, my question was, would this come out? This seems to say yes. It's interesting because we got a dove. Here's the hand coming out of the heavens. Cups are love energy. It's a yes with love. It feels like even though they try with all their might and they're really good at it, it still leaks out. It leaks. Look at it leaking out of this cup. Interesting. Then I pulled a few lantern cards asking, will it come out? The first one is the bright yellow sun card. Can you see this yellow? Which would be a yes. Also, smiley face upside down. So that gives me a yes, but maybe not everything comes out. But there is some revelation. And they give me the past and the present, which would make me think, bringing the evidence of the past, like these files, pictures, um, appointment books, lists, being brought into the present. Um, they're trying to keep it there. Because there's people just as involved in it in the present as there was then. It's still going, I think. I'm going to pull some cards on that. But the last one on that was the good girl angel. Um, so that again is a positive. Yes, I think it will come out. Part of it is like spiritually, on behalf of these people who were abused and used, some of which underage. Not all, not everybody was looking for underage. They did other things, but certainly there were underage people too in there. And so it needs to come out for their benefit. That's kind of a spiritual reason that's back there. I pull a couple of cards. Is this thing still going on? Just like business as usual? That why they kind of want to just end it? Because members, their mafia group, use it and participate in it. It's one of their things. Evil does as evil is. You look for those kinds of outlets. When you begin to seek out your spirit connection, your connection to your higher energy, to your spiritual aspect, to the creator, you just keep getting, it just keeps lifting, more light, more love, more joy. And it just keeps progressing that way. When you pursue, the dark, um, it goes deeper, deeper, deeper. It just keeps opening that direction. So, you might start out thieving, but then one thing leads to another, and the next thing you know, you've killed somebody. It progresses. So, is it done? Is it over with? Or is it still going? See, they kind of made Ghislaine the fall girl and him, well, he's dead, she's in prison, we ended it. Feel kind of bad in a way. Everybody kind of deserves what they get with that, but they really kind of set her up. And now, even to say, um, oh, and there's no list or no evidence, then why is she in jail if there weren't any people? What the? Okay. Is it still going on? Yes. Inside. Still going on? Seven of Pentacles. Oh, look. Money for women. I know there were men too, boys and stuff. It wasn't just females. It's whatever you're into. But, women scantily clad, money passing hands. That's very much in the present. It's still happening. It's my first card. Yeah, money, sexy women. Is it still happening? Yeah. Lies and deception. Yeah. We hope to deceive you and make you think it's done, but it's not. We're sneakier than that. We're still sneaking around. We might be a little sneakier, but still going on. We're still making money. Um, it's a thriving business. It's still happening currently. That's the Nine of Cups, but the loving is still flowing. He's over there without his clothes on. She's over here with the drink. All that's happening. We're still working. We're together. It's a big thing. It wasn't just one person. It's a big thing. There's a lot of people involved. It's still happening. Look, they're still working on the plans and everything. And they'll do anything. Keep it going. And then it ended with Five of Pentacles. It's interesting because it's got this woman with the baby out in the dark, out in the street alone, being on the outside, being a loser in the situation. Um, so vulnerable people are still being preyed upon. It's interesting too because, like this mother and baby, I don't know, this is coming to my brain now that it's one thing if you've chosen to have sex with people or be a sex worker. I don't care. That's one thing. This isn't people chosen it. Like if she'd had her choice, she'd be mama uh, on the street, not a street walker. So I know that's you know kind of harsh, but it's taking people who would normally go down this path and putting them on it. Little ones and vulnerable people. So yes, it's still happening. Now, I wanted to ask another curious question that keeps kind of haunting me a little bit, and that is Jeffrey Epstein dead and gone? Something don't feel right. I'm just asking. So, can you show me any clarity on that cards about his state? Is he still on the earth? Is he on the other side? What's happening? Did I pull two cards? Oops. Could you give me a real clear, like, um, yes or no? Hmm. Okay. Like I know he supposedly committed suicide. Now there's this, they're acting like, well, he was probably just murdered, not didn't commit suicide. But there's some weird energy that there could have been some other thing that went on. Let's see here. Mysterious. Are you going to give me a very clear answer? I get that this sounds very weird, but when isn't it when I read on any of these people? It feels like um, from these cards, it looks more like hiding. So I get the Three of Pentacles, which would be, you know, you're still working on stuff on the earth, pentacles, earthly things. You're still working on the earth, like in a body, working with others. Don't really talk a lot about being dead. So then I get the Two of Pentacles, and that was the three. Um, Definitely, um, you know, it took energy away or it took him out of balance, but it looks like we're still juggling with health and physical energy. We're still working with our energy. Now, there's also in this card, there is the sea and ships back there, which might mean he could be somewhere like in the sea or overseas or in the sea, like as in, you know, a place that might not be on the map or something. it feels like he had to sacrifice something. Like, he lost an arm, but like they're picking in his brain too. The crow is eating a little bit of brain. Um, but he's still standing. He's injured, mm, but still here. It was almost like too, he kind of didn't have a choice there in the end. Things were just decided for him. And then again, we got this water behind him with these islands and things on it. Why is that on there again? He also has people in power. There's a King of Swords. Um, who might act like, oh, he's just the worst or whatever, but they have his back. Then here is the death card. But why aren't I feeling like it means death? It did end. It was an ending, but it feels like half alive or something. What is that? There's zombies down there. It's interesting because it's a woman and a child. And there's the priest over there or the leader. And it came right after the King of Swords. So it's like, for all intents and purposes, he's dead. He'll never, you won't see him. We're going along with the death story. Then I pulled some other cards and but he's just suspended or, look, floating around. He's not really dead and he's not really alive. It's kind of like in the middle, like he's actually breathing and stuff, but um, he's in like suspended animation or like where you can't see him. He's hiding from the sun upside down. He has to hide because there's this little kid on a rocky horse. He's got to hide from all that energy about children, trafficking, all that stuff. You know, so if this is where we're going, he's kind of stuck with this um, version of the truth. Um, whether he likes it or not, I guess he thinks, well, it's better than being dead. But I feel like he's might still be around. That's very weird. I mean, it seems like it would have to be so complicated to accomplish that. Um, but I guess not really. You can fudge cameras and all kinds of stuff if you want to, and you're rich enough. Apparently, he could afford anything, and the other people he worked with could also afford it. I think he's still around. But for all intents and purposes, the official story is he's dead. They want to say he killed himself, but I don't know. So the jury's still out as far as I'm concerned on that. I did get that death card in there, but it was so weird about the way it was placed. It felt like, yeah, that's the story we're going with. And in a way, it did end his, reign. Um, but it might not be exactly what we've been told. There may be some delusion and illusion in the story. Is he in ghost form or is he still a snake? Who knows? I don't get a real strong feeling that he's dead. All right, let's change the topic. I think that's all I wanted to look at that. Oh, I will pull two cards about how much is the Oompa Loompa involved in the Epstein files. I feel like that's the main reason they're not coming out is because he's all over them. Um, but what do I know? So, can you tell me how much is he involved in it? Yeah. Uh, he's pretty, it looks to me like right in there, kind of all over it. And kind of brazenly so. Here's the Knight of Swords. So if you looked at it, the truth would jump out in your face about he was right on there riding with the best of them. He was a part of the family of that whole network. It sounds disgusting. Um, he was all about it. Um, he didn't care. He kind of liked, I feel like there's stuff about him with underage people. Um, but this Ten of Cups makes me think he had a long time association. So way back up to the present. He has that only I met him once or something. Yeah. Um, you know, it don't look good for him. Like if we saw it, um, we already know the way he feels about women. He's a misogynist and about people of color and about um, they don't deserve the same things as men. They're lower. But this is the justice card, but it really shows, if we look at that paper, it's fiery evidence. And I think he's associated with it. He really doesn't want it to come out. Um, he would like us to think of him as the one that maybe he helped to get rid of it, but it's all a big fantasy. So now he gets the King of Wands, which he never really gets, except that when they want to show me his intention is to burn things down and destroy the world, basically, and to do things he wants. But he's a fiery, nasty energy that there's no place he wouldn't go. And he's way involved in that. Um, Money, privilege, I get to have what I want. I'll just pay for it. They have to do what I say, all that. So I think it's still thriving. They want us just to ignore it and forget about it. Hopefully, we won't. Okay, so I want to look at the weather again for just a minute. I've been feeling like the past couple days that, we'll see, but there's likely to be a volcanic event in North America. That's what I'm feeling because they've been kind of all over the place. I'm going, okay. But I'm getting, I don't know, Pam seems to be saying, yeah, but wouldn't be surprised if there's an event in North America. Now, that doesn't mean there's not events other places, but in the North American continent, like the United States. He's not talking about Hawaii, although that's already happening. He's talking about continental. Okay. Um, and it feels like something's about to happen, like on our soil, because it's been going on, nonstop all over the place. They're all interrelated, though. And even when he says, like, yeah, it looks like one's about to go in this part, um, they're all bubbling, all of them, everyone, active, not active, under the water, on the earth, everywhere. In the ring of fire or not in the ring of fire doesn't really matter. They're all interconnected. It's like, I don't know, I can compare it like heating system or something. And each vent has the possibility to release energy. And it always does it. And that's what volcanoes do. They release energy and earthquakes, um, release the energy for new energy to come in. Now, they're liable to be more dramatic as they already have been. And he keeps telling me it's related to human resistance to positive change. And that makes things like that more dramatic, like flooding. So, I'm focusing and looking at volcanoes, but Mother Nature in general is continuing to act out. I do see lots of water still. I've been seeing that for a while, but flooding, 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 and not just around the coast, flooding there too, but like in the middle of the country or um, places that you don't really think about it flooding. And that's kind of what, because you think about global warming, you don't necessarily go to flooding, you might go to drought in your mind. But he says, well, flooding happens first. And we've just seen the kind of the beginning of that. But let's stay focused on, does it look like there's a volcano about to erupt in the United States? I still kind of get the Pacific Northwest. Um, but again, it could be multiple places. But it does feel like, you know, Washington and Alaska too, because all that feels very activated, including that one in the water. Um, so one more card here. Let me pull a couple of these. Does it look like that what I'm hearing about possibility of a volcano here in the United States happening sooner rather than later? Does that look like that might be going on? Okay. Okay. Well, according to these, I think is definitely a possibility. So here's the Queen of Chalices. So there's this energy in the cup and it's full, it's pretty full. For some reason, there's all this molten fire moving all around under the earth, global warming. Um, but so there it sits, a big old tub of it. Looks like though there's going to be some release of the fiery energy. There's the wand. Um, that could also be like smoke and ash coming up, but coming out of the cup of, hot goo. Um, now, this page could mean like a volcano that hasn't erupted in a long time, or the beginning of a few eruptions. The energy's very unstable. It's very, um, you know, jumpy, um, aggravated, that kind of thing. It needs to release emotions and feelings. And we're kind of moving into this another phase. So here's Wands again. Wands is fire to me, which, would speak about volcanic energy. And it looks like another phase of it. And then I was asking about if it's here, in America. And this Empress card makes me feel like yes. So it looks like we may be seeing a volcano erupting here in this country. Um, and it might be happening sooner rather than later, is what I get. Let me pull one more little card on that. Let me use this deck. Can you give me three cards? It would really look to a yes or no of that? Three cards, please. Three cards, please. Yep, I think so. It feels like it's at a place where it hasn't gone off in a while. So it's like eruptions are kind of new for this volcano. Or it's been a really long time. Like either we were really young when it happened before, or even beyond that. Um, but it's like if you live around this one, you don't worry about it that much. It feels like, well, it never erupts. So there could be that kind of thing where it's one that's surprising or we didn't expect it here. Um, like here we all are, we're home, we're safe, we're sound. We don't think about that. That's not really on our mind. Um, but a little bit of devilish activity under the ground, underfoot, a little bit of fire, brimstone, boiling under the surface. And we might find that we have to like defend ourselves against it. Here's the wands, the fiery wands. Ah, we have to do a little defense. Now, this reminds me in this too. See all those clouds and everything up in the air? Um, because the thing about all the volcanic eruptions is, you know, regardless of like the lava flow and that, even more than that is the ash and the other, this is what he's telling me, the other chemicals that go into the air. And like you can see lava and you run from it. But this is a little more insidious, like it can affect you after the eruptions happened. That still lingers. And it stays in the atmosphere, he says. And so in some ways, there's uh, there's the explosion, but then there's the aftermath in the air and in the atmosphere. And when they're going off, like regularly, even though they're different places on the earth, this um, it starts forming this like atmospheric energy that's different. Um, like creates more rain. That's one thing he's saying. Like unusual rain in the air. And like if you live near where one it goes off, like he says it wouldn't be a bad idea to wear a mask and not, go outside and do a lot of running and breathing in to kind of, you know, be cautious of that. Realize that um, there's so the thing is we want to keep some of that out of our lungs. So there's that. I don't know, maybe people already like in Italy and stuff are wearing masks, but he kind of talks about that we might be doing that again to help filter some kind of chemical. You guys probably know what it is, but I don't. But anyway, so we'll wait and see. I won't be surprised if there's a volcano eruption in North America. Um, Now I don't really get like, they talk about super volcano, like this in Yellowstone, I guess, or is it Yellowstone? Yeah. Um, I don't really get that exactly. Like, you know, world ending thing. Um, but I do still feel like there's activity and stuff, even in that area. So what Pan tells me is that wherever there's a volcano, it's feeling it inside. It's bubbling in there, and it's affecting all of them. It's like all the valves have been um, turned on, kind of a thing. All right. Well, I think I might have gone too long, so I'm going to end this. Um, Hold on. Okay. Well, those of you that hung out to the very end, Pan wants to do a brief little message. So I'm going to channel him. He's been talking the whole time in my head, but I'm just going to let him say what he wants. Okay. This is for you guys. Hello, my friends. Beautiful light workers, one and all. Light walkers, I like to say, because you're here on the earth, stepping, leaving your light in your footsteps, holding the light, holding the space for love to grow here on the earth. Being a soldier for truth, love, and light. And don't think for a minute that the universe doesn't appreciate you being here. Even the fact of agreeing to be incarnated at this time is, something to be commended. It's not the easiest time to stay balanced on the earth. It is very um, chaotic energetically. And so just being able to stay and hold your focus and um, keep as calm and balanced as you're able is a good thing. It helps Mother Earth make the changes as easily as possible, as you align with her and keep the faith, keep your focus on that outcome that serves everyone to their highest, even in the midst of the chaos. And that's where we're headed. Um, Here's the thing I want you guys to remember. Um, it's Humans won't stop the progression of the planet. Um, it's it's the Earth's destiny to evolve further as a physical representation of the Creator in all of its glory, love, and peace, understanding, caring, all that. So it's meant to get to that point and to like be a beacon for the universe, so to speak. So it's it's always been the plan. Now, part of it is for souls, humanity, to choose it. Go along with the evolution. Choose higher thought, higher action, love, joy, and be here to assist it and facilitate it. Um, like, fight for it, stand for it, um, go along, rejoice in the idea that that's the plan. Now, not only is that the plan, that that's the future, that it won't be stopped. It's, it's happening, you know. Now, individuals can decide to check out and not go along with for the ride or say, I resist, I don't participate, I don't choose. That's okay. And they'll go do something else. But I want you guys to know that have been, praying, asking for assistance, wanting things to feel better for life on Earth. That the reason you have that, in your soul is because you're holding it. You're holding the picture of what's to come, right? So don't give up on it. Hold on to it. And that's where it's going. It won't be stopped. This is like that, you know, I'll say it's that portion of humanity that's testing and resisting. And of course, they're given free will choice to do what they want, right? And hopefully learn from their choices and make different ones. Um, but if you're in this shut down mode where um, you're refusing the call, right? You don't listen to your conscience. You don't even imagine that there could be a better world, or you just, you're kind of in the earth is crap pile and I'm stuck in it, kind of a thing. And the only way I'll get out of it is to do whatever serves me at the expense of whoever. I don't care. And so, that's what you're dedicated to. And that's what you're dedicated to proving is the way to be here on the earth, right? Uh, but it's, it's, we're getting to the point of where that's not an option. Now, some souls are really determined that they like that that's fun, that's exciting, that creates drama, and oh boy, it's a lot of fun. You know, you don't know what's good unless you have the bad. It helps to see more clearly. And although those things are true, that's not the destiny of this part of the universe. The earth is meant to, like I said before, express the creator's energy, the highest form of it, in physical form. And that's what's going to happen. So hopefully that might give you a little encouragement just to keep the faith and realize that this too shall pass. I know it looks really chaotic and really out of control. Oftentimes, before a big change happens, you see that because the resistance gets louder and more afraid. You know, they're fearful. So then they project fear onto others or project scary things onto others. It's all the tactic, but just don't fall for it. You're stronger than that. Right. So I did want to come on here and tell you guys you're doing a great job and that the universe is so proud uh, of you guys and gals and animal friends and spirit pals who are on the team of evolution Earth, evolution humanity, because there's no separation. It's one and the same, right? And so that's where we're headed, even if it doesn't look like it right now. Now, having said that, things are starting finally to push forward. And um, a good way to say that is individuals are becoming more empowered. More and more people are waking up within themselves, not just here in this country, but all over the world. More and more are doing it. And that's that one-on-one adventure that you have with spirit. And more are waking up to it, asking for it, receiving it, and moving forward in it. And that's the good news. And as more and more do that, um, the other gets less and less um, room on the stage, and their power just dwindles and flickers out. You're going to see some of it. Just you look for it, but you'll see some of the flickering out begin to happen. All right, my friends. Well, hope you have a great week, and I'm going to step aside. Thank you very much for participating in this family of like-minded light walkers. It's great. Your numbers mean a lot. All right, my friends. So long. Okay. Well, that's what he wanted to say. All right, guys and gals, love you so much. I'm going to move on to getting ready to catch some shut eye. And I'll talk to you guys again real soon. Okay, love ya.